All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym, and the QBO gym is really just a set of numerous exercises that help simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every month we come out with a new set of exercises for you to practice, and we break it down into 4 different sections. So today we are going to be focusing in the cardio section for July. At the top here is a video that talks about what's going on in Craig's world that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge on what you just watched. And then further down are all of the exercises in this section. So today we are going to be focusing on practicing handling a bounced check. We are going to be in the sample company. This is where we always work. If you are not sure how to access the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. So our scenario today is that the check that Craig deposited last week from Bill's Windsurf Shop, check number 1053, in the amount of $175 was returned due to insufficient funds. The bank has charged you $25 for this, which Craig says to pass on to Bill, and to add a $20 handling fee for his new invoice. You will need to record the bounced check and fee as well as invoice Bill's Windsurf Shop to recoup the fee incurred and add the handling fee. So let's see how you would do this. First thing we need to deal with is the bank charge. This is going to be a new expense for us and we'll need to record it. We'll also want to pass the charge on to Bill, so that will have to be included as well. All right, so step 1 is you're going to click on the plus new button and select expense. Here we are in the sample company. This is the dashboard. So go ahead and click on the new button in the left nav bar. Under vendors, click on expense. Now let's go ahead and start filling it out. You can leave the payee blank or create a vendor for the name of the bank. Note that if we are recording just our own bank charge, we would use the category grid and enter bank charges as the account. But since we are going to be billing Bill's Windsurf Shop for reimbursement, we will use the items grid and then create a new product to track it. Without the product, the money from billable expenses goes into a default billable expenses income account, and we instead want it to go directly into the bank charges account as reimbursement. So the only way to do this is with a product and service. So in the form, we are going to open the items detail grid. So here's the category details grid. Here is the items. Go ahead and open that up. And then under the product and service, you're going to type returned payment / check fee. So click into it and say returned payments / check fee. All right. And then you're going to add it. So you're just going to click on the plus add new button, which is this one right here. And now this will appear for you to get started with setting this up. We're going to select service. And you see the name has populated for us here. And then we're going to fill it out. So in the category field, we are going to put NSF items, which is short for non-sufficient funds items, and then click the plus add NSF items and save when prompted. Later, we'll be setting up more products for this, and this will just help keep them together. So that's why we're going to add it. So in the category NSF items, so category here, just type that in, NSF item. Oops. Just trying to find something for me. NSF items. Okay, and then click on the plus add. You have the name there, so just go ahead and click on save. In the sales price field, we're going to enter it 25 because that's how much we are going to be charging the customer. So sales price is 25. And then for the income account, we're going to enter bank charges. Note that even though this is the income account field, you're entering an expense account for the bank charges here. So what I mean by that is this says income account, even though it's an expense account that we are just about to add. So you're going to go ahead and use the bank charges income account. So bank charges, there it is. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to edit the sales tax. So go ahead and scroll down a little bit. You see this blue link. Go ahead and click on that. And then we are going to scroll all the way to the bottom and mark this as non-taxable because it is it's a fee. It's not taxable. So keep scrolling all the way to the bottom here, non-taxable, and then go ahead and click on the green Done button. So since we are going to be using this item for both an expense or purchase and income when we charge it back to them, we will have both the I sell this product service to customers and I purchased this product service from a vendor checked. And this is called double-sided product, and it's only available for some QBO subscription levels. But in a real life scenario, if your client did not have this available as an option, you would just create two different products, one for the income and then one for the expense. So in the cost field, we're going to make that $25. And here are those two little checkboxes that we were just talking about here. So in down here, this for the cost, we're going to put $20. And then because this is how much that the return check is going to cost us. And so in this scenario, it would be the same as what we are charging the customer because we are passing that expense on. And then under expense account, we're going to select bank charges. I also just realized I put 20 in here and it's 25. Sorry about that. So we're going to make this bank charges. So clicking into it and start typing bank. There it is. And now we're just going to go ahead and save and close this. So just click on the green Save and Close button. And there you go. That new product or service has been added here. We are going to check it as billable because we're billing it back. And then in the customer field, select Bills Windsurf Shop. Okay, so billable. And then in the customer field, go ahead and type in bills. What's actually that top one right there? And then you are going to go ahead and save and close. So just click on the green Save and Close button. And now that expense has been saved. So now we will need to create a new invoices that includes three things. One, passing along the expense that we incurred, which was the $25, and then the $20 handling fee that Craig wants to charge, and then the bad check that we just received. Hold that thought for a second. I know it sounds confusing, but we'll get to that in just in 1 minute. But before we do all this, we need to create a service and product for the last two items. So we are going to, in the left nav bar, select sales and then click on products and services. So here's the left nav bar, go to sales and then down to products and services. You're going to click on the green new button over here on the right side. And then we are going to select service again. And the name for this one we are going to call handling fee. So go ahead and type that in. Handling fee. And then the category is that same one that we did that we just set up before. It's that NSF items. There it is. Go ahead and click on that. In the description field, we're going to enter handling fee for returned check or payment / check. So handling fee for returned payment / check. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay. And then in the sales price here, we're going to enter $20. So go ahead and enter 20. Our income account is going to be other income because it's a fee. So just go ahead and click into it and type in other to get other income. And then we're going to edit the sales tax again the same way that we did and mark this as non-taxable. So scroll down here, you get the little blue button, go ahead and click on that. Scroll, scroll, scroll all the way till you get to non-taxable, click on the button, and then click the green done button. And now we are just going to save, click Save Anew because we are going to create one more product here. So click on the green arrow and then Save and New. Okay, so the next part is about the bad check, but let's create the item for that. But I want to break it down first to think about why we're doing what we're about to do. So Craig sent an invoice basically asking Bill to send him a good check. Bill sent a check, which was then matched to the invoice. Later, however, you realize it was a bad check, not a good check. So the check and the invoice don't actually match. One thing that needs to happen is that the invoice and the bad check need to be unmatched, and we'll get to that in a future step. When they are unmatched, you will be left with the bad check that is not matched to anything at all. So in order for the to account for the bad check that Craig received, you basically have to create an invoice for a bad check. Yes, you heard that correctly. The bad check that you received will then be matched to this second invoice. So that's why we do it. It may seem strange, but you do have to create a service item for the bad check. So in the name field, we are going to do returned payment / check. Oops. Payment / check. And then again, that category is that NSF items. So click on that and start typing NSF. There it is. In the description field, we are just going to write returned check number. And when you create the invoice, you will enter the number of the bad check. And you'll see why we write it this way in a moment. So return check and then just number. Returned check number. The sales price we're going to leave blank, and when we create the invoice, the amount will be the amount of the bad check. So it's not a set thing, and that's why we would put it in here if, like we did with the other two fees, the 25 and the 20, because those are set ones. This particular one will be just for the bad check. So if you use this account for other things, rather than having something pre-filled ready because we're filling it out here, we're just going to leave it blank. In the income account, we're going to enter checking, and note that this is the account that the original item was deposited into, and that's why we are selecting it. So the income account again is checking. And then non-taxable should already be selected, and if it's not, we'll just go ahead and edit the text the way that we have before. It does say non-taxable, so we are good. And then you can just click on the Save and Close button. So click on the arrow and then Save and Close. And now that one has been saved as well. All right, so now that we have all the items set up, it's time to create the additional invoice. Now remember, this invoice has to include the bank charge expense reimbursement for $25, the handling fee for $20, and then the request for the bad check. So we're going to create the invoice by clicking on the plus new button and then select invoice. So your plus new button here under customers, select invoice. We want to put in the customer field Bill's Windsurf Shop. All right, so go ahead and click into it and you'll see Bill's Windsurf Shop. And you will see this billable expense that we had marked earlier. That pops up in this little pop-up drawer. So we are going to go ahead and add it because we need it on this invoice, which is nice. It's one less thing that we have to redo again. In the remainder of the invoice, on the second line, we are going to select returned payment check, put the check number for $10.53 and then the amount for $175. So click onto the second line, start typing in returned payment check. We are going to put the check number, which was 10 right here. See, now you know why we didn't fill in a number with it. Now it's easy for us to just put in whatever is needed. And this, again, this account can be used for further future, any kind of needs that they would have. So that, hopefully Craig didn't have too many bounce checks, but if he did, this would be all set up for him. So it just makes it easier to just have it number rather than having, setting it up with the check number for this particular instance. And then the amount we said was 175. So click into the amount, type in 175. Tab over, you will see that now that has been calculated by QBO. And then in the third line, we are going to select the handling fee. So go ahead and click into this, start typing in handling fee. And there you go, that has been added for a total of $220. Now we are going to go ahead and save and close this, but I just want to pause here for a very important note. In these practices, we do tend to do a lot of save and close very often, especially for invoice transactions, because the sample company doesn't actually allow you to send an invoice anywhere. So just know that in a real life scenario, you would actually, if this was something you were doing, you would actually hit save and send. In this particular workflow, though, you don't want to send the invoice at this point, and that's because we still have to unmatch the bad check payment with the previous invoice and match it to this one first. So we'll do that in the next section. But hopefully that clears up that anytime you have an invoice that needs to go out, do the save and send, not save and close. It's just because we can't send it anywhere in the sample company. But again, for this particular workflow, you do not want to send the invoice at this point, and that's because we have to unmatch and match correctly. So go ahead and hit Save and Close to go to the green arrow. Click on Save and Close, and that invoice has been saved. So now let's match the payments. At this point, you must unmatch the bad check payment with the original invoice and apply it to the new invoice. We do this so that the agent continues on the original invoice. And so to do this, we have to find the original payment first. So step one, you should still be in the Products and Service Center, which we are here. You're going to go ahead and click on the Customers tab, which is right here. If for whatever reason you got out of that, another way to get there is to go to Sales, and then when you hover over, you can click on Customers there as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's in Bill's Windsurf Shop. Just go ahead and click on anywhere on that line, and you will see this appear. We're going to go on the Payment row, and we're going to select View Edit. If you have any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. So I need to scroll over so that I can see everything. You can also, if you have this pop-up, you can go ahead and collapse that just with this, if it has 3 lines in the arrow. That way you have a little more availability or able to see everything else on your screen. So we're looking for the payment line. So go ahead and click on View Edit. And this is what will appear. Under the invoice number 1002, we want to uncheck, and then we want to check the payment for 1038. So we're going to uncheck this one here, and we are going to instead check this one. This is that new invoice that we had just created, that $220. We are going to go ahead and just save and close then. So just click on the green arrow and then save and close. And you're going to get this little warning here. And basically, it's just saying that the bad check payment was linked to the original invoice. And so we don't want them linked anymore. So you can go ahead and click on the green yes. So click on that. And now at this point, you're going to want to send the invoices. For the original invoice, you're just resending, and it will be for the original amount of the $175, which has not been paid. For the additional invoice, you are sending it for the first time. And since the bad check has been applied to this one and the total for the bank charge plus the handling fee, it's a total of $45. So you can send them both very easily. So step one is we're just going to check on the boxes for invoice 1002, and which was the original invoice, and then the other invoice, the new one that we just created, the 1038. So go ahead and click on both of those. Here's that 1038, and here is that 1002. That was the original, and that was the one that we just created. And then we are just going to go into batch actions and send it. So if you go into batch actions here, go ahead and hit send. And now those two invoices have been sent. And that is how you would handle a bounced check. And if you have any questions about the QBO gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. We are going to move through the cardio section with our next exercise, which is all about recording a bank deposit. And I will see you in that next video.